Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Market Check, brought to you by BB. There is no second best daily YouTube live stream to talk about these markets. Welcome, guys, and it's going to be another one of those days where we have quite a bit going on. Clearly, I mean, we've been talking about it all week, right? The importance of the price action that we would see coming out of some of these macroeconomic data events, I guess we could call them, but as we can see, the market is really not responding super favorably to the unemployment data that we got this morning. And we're going to talk about all of that and more here on this show. Obviously, quite a few charts that we're going to have to delve into on today's show. But I'm Snorlax. You guys also know me as Tommy. I'm joined by Tucker, Jackus, Dr. Will's Outlook, Louis Tuesday, and we have welcomed back Popeye as well. For you guys, if you've been around for the last few weeks, you will remember Popeye. He did a great job, and it seems like we need a little bit of extra help to cover the markets today, given the volatility that we are currently seeing basically since last night, right? And really this morning in equities. We got a very hot unemployment print. The market is not responding super favorably, especially after Powell. You know, he didn't say it explicitly, but he kind of did on Wednesday that we will get a cut at the September meeting. The market, in my opinion, is probably getting a bit of a knee-jerk reaction to that information, but markets can remain irrational for periods of time, as we know. But before we can start talking about charts, more granular and actionable trading information, I'm going to ask you guys to smash, destroy the like button, whatever you need to do. It is Friday. I can't believe we've already come towards the end of this week. Like I said, I mean, we had so much going on throughout the week that it's kind of surprising that it is already Friday, but when you work in markets, these periods of time tend to go by pretty quickly. But if you guys can smash that like button for us before we start cooking, we promise we are going to give you all of the alpha that we can possibly provide on a day where we have quite a bit of volatility in the markets, like I said. But yeah, I mean, Bitcoin and crypto have held up, relatively speaking, very well on this dip. Can they carve out a higher low here in the face of this equity market weakness? I think this is kind of around the territory you would expect Bitcoin to do it. Obviously, ETH and altcoins are going to be a little bit weaker. Just some of that risk off sentiment that you're seeing in equities probably being displayed on crypto as well. But yeah, I mean, equities are really the tail today. I mean, VIX is up. Oh my God, we're about to get a 30 handle on the VIX. It's up 60% in a single daily candle. I can't remember the last time that I've seen the VIX do that. You've got the NASDAQ and the S&P down about 2.5% today. So big second half of the day coming, I think, for markets to kind of decide how we're going to trade into next week. I'd love to just get it over with today, right? Like the selling is done today, maybe a little bit on Monday, and then we can continue going on our merry way next week. But I want to hear from the panel. I want to hear how we are interpreting all of this volatility that we are seeing this morning, because it is not just exclusive to one market. We are seeing it all across the board. And something I wanted to point out too, everything is down right now except for vol, even the dollar, right? So you have risk markets selling off, but so is the dollar index. A very interesting I don't even know if you can call it a correlation, but a very interesting movement from a lot of these charts so far this morning. But how are we doing, guys? And what are we seeing in the markets?
The dollar is screaming that everybody's an idiot here. Okay? That's what it's screaming. It's screaming the poor's are going to be poorer because they're going to sell here to buy lower. And it is screaming that there's something weird going on right now with the market. That's what it's screaming to me. We're down 4% on Bitcoin on the day with a VIX at 30. What are we really expecting here? That's what I'm trying to figure out. What are we expecting? What's the expectations here? Dollar is absolutely nuking. VIX is running. That doesn't correlate with me. That doesn't correlate at all. That for me, I think the market is reacting and it's acting in a way that's irrational and not rational, and those tend to resolve in the opposite direction of the move when that occurs. That's just my perspective on what's actually happening here. We don't have any systemic puke on Bitcoin. We don't have any systemic puke in crypto. Possibly even front ran it in crypto with the 52K move originally. And that was probably your signal that equities were going to be the next one to take a hit. And equities, I don't know, man. I would highly doubt that these things continue to resolve to the downside after this week, to be honest with you. I'd say one more week max, if possible. But and in addition to that, like VIX, this kind of move today, man, I don't see it continuing. It's too much. It's just too much to the volatility. Volatility spikes like this and then cools down for a long period of time.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this like, you know, I like these levels. It's a sort of a level to level me matey situation, right? Like I think you lose 62.5, you're probably getting the CME gap fill, right? That's probably what you're getting. I wouldn't expect this last arrow to play, but somewhat of a line in the sand for me, right? Like you've got this little bit of structure here too, kind of holding you up. So kind of a short-term line in the sand. But yeah, I mean, look, we got hot unemployment data, which was not great. You got the VIX doing that, not great. But like you said, Will, the DXY is absolutely cooked. S&P not looking great.
Does it smell right to you the way it's set up right now? That's the question.
I
Tucker.
mean,
Does it smell right?
here's all you need to like look at, right? And I just like charted this out, but hold on. Like it's not that difficult, guys, and ignore the candle colors. But VIX spike bottom, VIX spike bottom, VIX spike bottom, VIX spike. What do you think is about to happen? Like depending on where this thing stops and you start to see like any red candle, like that's probably about the bottom, right? So I'm not, I mean, it's already at 30. Like, you know, maybe you get up here, but I'm not expecting any more than that, honestly.
I'm expecting the VIX to be done either today or in Monday's session. But I do think until those sessions close, there is a possibility the VIX continues to climb.
What do you think crypto does this weekend, Tommy?
I've got no idea, man. I've got no idea because it's obviously been pretty strong so far in the morning session. But if we sell hard in New York, then like where does that leave? Where does that leave crypto? I'm not sure because maybe we try to. I really don't know. I'm not gonna speak in certainties, but usually when the VIX climbs this high, there are a lot of consequences for the general market that take more than a day to digest.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like historically we see like after equity weekly closes like this, usually we see some relief. You know, we don't have the sell pressure from equities. We don't have grayscale ETF outflows, which had been weighing down on ETH as well. So, I mean, I would expect some sort of relief, but like Tommy said, no guarantees. But I can see them also puking into Monday morning as well. You know, keep running up a little higher, maybe create a wick high on the VIX at peak volatility, peak fear, something like that. So even if we did get some relief over the weekend, it could probably be faded into Monday morning if we don't see a bottom set in today for crypto. But it was strong at first. Crypto looked great until we got all this nonsense, and even equities were puking, and Bitcoin was holding up quite well until finally it was like a house of cards and everything just started cascading. So, you know, we're obviously seeing that effect from the unemployment. You know, nothing you can do about it.
See, like Tiny Taco says, there will be no rate cuts this year. Everything's going to crash hard. Nobody's expecting it or prepared for it. Based on what?
We're definitely getting rate cuts now.
Based on what? It's like,
yeah,
like, I don't know what that means.
Smarter than the market, you know.
Rate cuts are happening, brother. I'm sorry to tell you.
Look, when you make a bold statement, you have to have something to rebuttal with. You can't just say it's just going to happen, bro. Right? It's just like you know, number go up, bro. What else do you need to know? You're basically saying it's going to break down, bro. Nothing else you need to know. Like that's the conversation we're having with that. This is why we tend to have this conversation back and forth between each other, is because we're trying to put the puzzle pieces together and, you know, see what each other is seeing live on the show for the audience. The data is the most important part. The dollar is telling something different from what VIX is telling us.
Mhm.
VIX is telling us that there's high volatility, which, you know, typically, you know, results in the scenario of fear and sell-offs. And I mean, we saw some insinuations even in the GigaChat chat that were talking about like 1987. It's like that's not even a possibility anymore, because they started doing halts, which is basically where they stop the stock market after a 5 to 7% drop every single day that occurs. So if you do get drops, it's gonna be very mechanical and controlled. And so you're not going to see any drops like that anymore. You're not going to see these big pukes like everybody's expecting in equities. It's just not going to happen. They're gonna control the price action when that starts to occur. So for right now, we're just trying to see, okay, how does the market feel about things? Is the market risk on, risk off, and why we think so? And I think the dollar is telling the opposite of what VIX is telling us, which could mean ultimately, in my perspective, that if the dollar is doing what it's doing and VIX is doing what it's doing, we're probably relatively near a top on VIX, and probably exactly to what Tommy was saying, looking for a bounce on dollar, which means vol cool down, dollar up, and then dollar will probably roll again with a failed shoulder, I would say, later on.
Now, we've seen this dynamic before in equities, where you have a lot of forced selling even when the dollar is dropping. What typically does happen is you get one last little spike on the dollar higher as people flee into cash, and then that usually marks a capitulation, typically. So that's kind of what I'm looking for today and Monday. What happens with the VIX, what happens with the dollar. But when I see a spike on the dollar, like that's definitely going to be, I think, the bottom.
Yeah, I would say, Todd, you keep talking about a recession. If you feel like there's a recession, go all cash. Like, I can't make it any simpler. If you feel like a recession's coming, just go all cash, man. I think, like, if you feel that that's coming, go for it. I don't think a recession's coming. I'm not seeing it in the claims data. Claims is a little hot the other day, but it's not hot enough to really call for a recession. Unemployment is where it is. Even the Fed came out and said, like, unemployment isn't at anywhere near what it historically has been when we see collapses, essentially, right? He didn't say collapses, but when we see collapses, it's usually about 4.5 plus on the unemployment data. Like, I know a lot of people like to talk about unemployment data as that they're all unemployment data experts. And it's funny because, like, whenever we start to see some bearish sentiment in the market, it's everybody run to the unemployment data, everybody run to the claims data. But that wasn't ever a question when we were up only. It was like, oh, unemployment, what is that? Who cares about that? Oh, claims, who cares about that? And now when you're at the lows, everybody's like, oh, you got to look at this metric, look at that metric. Those metrics we're looking at, but the major metrics are your VIX and your dollar. They'll tell you what the metrics look like and how the economy is holding with unemployment, how the economy is holding with claims, and so on and so forth.
But Will, we are unemployment experts. We trade crypto for a living.
That was a good one, Tommy.
That was a good one.
Was
I'll give you that, Tommy.
I don't know, man. I filled out a McDonald's application the other day. They said I could probably be a fry intern, which means I won't get paid, but eventually I'll get a job after being an intern for a certain amount of time. Study working for free. Study
working for free.
Jackus, what's your interpretation on the unemployment rate today? Because I have seen some interesting commentary, for one, from you. Obviously, you've been talking about how you thought unemployment rate was, I think you said it was bottom locally speaking, but I also saw some commentary on X today that was talking about maybe the data on unemployment's a little bit skewed this month. It might be like a one-off print, and that next month we see unemployment head back down to that 4.1 level that it was typically, or that it was previously kind of gravitating towards. What are your thoughts on that, as well as the macroeconomic data that we got today?
Well, I think it's like I don't know how skewed it is. We all know that the governments will skew the government data, right? Usually in their favor, but they can do it locally. They can skew the overall trend. So the trend is all that I care about. And as I was saying, the trend has been steadily going up. And as I was saying there, it's not just like I never recommend anyone looking at a single metric. So I always recommend like drawing a conclusion, a context, right? And there has just been too many stuff going on. You guys know that right at the single top. I think like I was a little lucky with it, with like the equity stop, but doesn't matter. Like right, like I was saying that we are going to begin the topping formation for equities, and then the recession is going to happen, but it may not be like straight from here straight down. Although it is what is currently happening, I still do not think that is going to be the case, especially when VIX is like up so much today. I think we are going to get the bounce, if not today, then probably early next week, maybe even over the weekend. We'll see, but because of insiders, but I think locally we are going to get the bounce. I think even equities could potentially like hit still new all-time highs from here. But I do think that essentially we are at the topping formation on them, and I think deeper problems will essentially roll over. And my hopes are that in that time period where hopefully equities bounce strong is when crypto really shines and is given enough time to outperform. As I always say, Tommy, I'm like a bull by heart. I love being bullish, and I do remain macro bullish on crypto, but like locally, I was always acknowledging the risks that were available, and they are currently playing out. So just my take. And when it comes to the skewed data, like, yeah, maybe they're right. I do not know. Maybe like next month we are back again at 4.1%. It's possible. I do not think so, but maybe, right? We'll see. But essentially, I think the trend is going to continue upwards because I'm not really seeing a reasoning why it shouldn't change anytime soon.
I will say this. I see that, Todd, I'm coming for you. So Todd's talking about 16K AK. What do you guys think of 16K AK Bitcoin? What do you guys think? Like, let's put in a percentage chance. What do you think the percentage chance of that happening is from here? We'll start with Popeye. Popeye, what do you think the percentage of chance of 16K to 8K Bitcoin?
I'm not really into prediction, but I see difficult to happen in the nearby future, but it might happen next year. Okay. I mean, we are speaking about 200% drop. What is
200% drop? Jesus.
I mean, I don't find it is an actionable information to discuss now about 16K, but in crypto everything is possible. Let's say.
Okay, all right.
I would invert the number, and I would invert the number and speak about 61K. I think it's more an actionable information.
I like 61 too.
16K is just a bearish cope right now. Like that's not an, as you say, Popeye, that's not an entertainable. I mean, unless like we want to joke, right? But like right now, it has no value.
So you're saying, Jackus, we shouldn't even entertain it because it makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to get the panel's thoughts on that. I don't think we need to ask anybody else. You heard it first.
The question,
Jackus.
Will, is I haven't seen any of you mentioning of what's currently happening being overreaction on the trouble in the Middle East. Lagging, let's say, overreaction on the Middle East.
I think from like a scalper's perspective, that's big for you, right, Popeye? Like I think if you're a scalper, these wars are really good places to be looking. But if you're not scalping and you're swinging or you're just investing, right? I think they're minute positions in the charts personally. Because Middle East, tell me a time it hasn't been at war. I can't think of any time off the top of my head that there hasn't been a war.
Yeah, sure. That's why I say overreaction. I mean, it's market showing some irrationality to something that, as you say, has been something very, very constant. So it's
yeah.
I think when it comes to Middle East, I think the only relevant information. I agree with you guys that like the they are like constantly sending out the news, discussing stuff. But I think the only thing that's really entertainable is that like Saudi Arabia started to sell oil, not using US dollars, and that I think is big.
But that's been going on now with China and Russia and a few other countries since 2021.
But not Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, but that's because they're being forced into having to use the currency that they're trading with, and that's just other countries not accepting, like China, for instance, and Russia are not accepting US dollar.
But I understand it with Russia, of course, but like Saudi Arabia, well, everyone in the world was under the petrodollar, where they have to use dollars to trade oil, right? Because dollar is backed by oil, basically. And anyone that tried otherwise has been attacked. That's just the fact. We all know how it goes. So I think that the fact that Saudi Arabia started to trade oil for something else than dollars is a big issue coming from that region. But other than that, I think that I agree it's an overreaction.
Yeah, I think these are like things to pay attention to, but and keep them in your back pocket as cards to really kind of like, okay, I need to watch for this becoming a situation later. But I think like looking at them in the current purview, I don't know that they affect markets at the moment, or that they probably already have if that's the case, right? So it's one or the other. So they either already have the market itself right now is, well, at least not the market. I would say the market participants, the retail is looking for any excuse to call for a much lower, than where we realistically probably will go as far as price action. And they're reaching is what I like to call it, right? Reaching for anything that they can grasp onto. It's like grasping at straws. And they're like, all right, this is the short straw. This is the short straw. This is a short straw. But there's 100 straws that they got to pull to get to that short straw, and then eventually they get the right short straw. That's a lot of macro bears that have been bears since 2022 that are now coming out of the woodwork like, oh, look, guys, I found the short straw. How many straws did you pull before you found the short straw? Right. That's the whole meaning of pulling at straws for those in the audience. It's a guessing game. They're basically guessing it, and eventually they hit, and then they swear that they were the genius that knew everything was going to happen. One thing that I stated, oh God,
I agree with that, but I think the same applies for the bulls too. And the unfortunate part. So I always say, like, if you gotta choose to be perma something, then be at least perma bull, because the markets are going to go up by nature because we live in an inflationary world, and they will go up by nature, right? So, but like you want to see, I do believe that like where you can get things really right on both direction is on a higher time frames. At least that's how it worked for me, where you can see things rotating early. But when you do that, it's like, again, I will use that example, the most recent one, which I had not most recent one, but recent one, with the BTC bottom at 20K. Again, BTC was selling off, and then you buy at 20K BTC in June 2022, and you are like an idiot for doing so, because it's obviously going to 14K, 12K, 10K, 3K, whatever they were calling for. And then it goes sideways for many months, and they still calling you that. right? But while the price is the same, and then there is an unexpected shakeout during FTX, price drops to 16K, which is not that far like lower. It's still significant drop, but on a longer enough horizon. And when you buy that in June 2022, you do not know how long the price will stay down there. That's the hard part of markets, that you do not know how long ranges will last and so forth. So, but then the market returns, and it should have been already pretty much bottom had it not been for FTX. Of that, I'm pretty much convinced, looking at other macro assets. So historically speaking, it was a great buy, and anyone that bought 20K right back then was a genius right now. But back then, you were called an idiot for a long enough period of time. And that's the tough part of the markets. That's the tough part of like being both bull and bear on different time frames at different situations, which is hard, which is the nature of investing.
Yeah, I tend to agree on that.
Wait, hold up. I got a quick thing that one of our audience members, Will, you know who Pitvox is?
Yeah.
Giga Chad, right? Giga Chad. This is gonna actually wait. Let me do this one. Yeah, let me do this one. Check this out. He tweeted this, and it's pretty nice. Okay. Right. This was SVB with a VIX spike too. What do we say here, huh? What do we think?
That's a valid fractal, I would say. But I would also add to it that with fractals, you also need a context and you need confirmation. So like for BTC, you would need to reclaim 67K. And then at that point, it could start playing out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I like that. I like that thought. I'd say that's probably even the same region. So maybe you do have one more.
I think the context there was very much different, because if you're gonna look at the fractal itself, it's the same, and anyone that will tell you otherwise will be wrong, because the fractal pretty much is the same. Like, it's not completely, but it's very similar. But the difference is that we were coming back from FTX deviation back then, and that we were retesting a weekly breaker. We like broke the weekly market structure from a bear market to bullish, versus this time around, we are still within a range and creating a lower high on Bitcoin, which doesn't necessarily mean this doesn't play out. But as I said, I think
we
needs further
lost the range and
confirmation
we
for
reclaimed it, though, Jack.
Yeah, that's what I say. We are still inside of a range.
Yeah. The fact that we lost it and reclaimed it is bullish for me. But if we lose it again, then I would have issues with it, right? Then I'd be like, okay, this shit, it's no longer a range at that point. Now you got to figure out where the real bottom is, because the bottom is not solidified anymore. But for now, I would say it's almost like the 25K Bitcoin, although we didn't get a deviation there, where it's like, as long as you are within the range, you should respect the range, right? So 62 to 58 is the low, and then 70 to 72 is the high. And basically anything, again, you violate that low, you go below 58, you hit like 55, for instance, now you've broken that range. That range is no longer valid. And now we had to start looking for a falling range, essentially, a downtrending range. From there is where I would look for. And yeah, I agree with the thesis the other day too, Jack, because I didn't get a chance to actually speak on that, where you had stated, well, by the time you break down, you're already going to be in that range where you should probably bid, right? And that's what I'm saying too. Between 62 to we'll say 62 to 52. We'll use that whole range. It's not the place to really sell. I don't see it as a selling point. The selling point would have been when Tommy had disclosed, hey, I think we could run to 70, and I agreed with him that we'll probably roll there. that would have been your selling position if you were looking to get out of this market and buy lower. But if you were just looking to hold the ball, then you're already there. You have to hold the ball at this point. You can't be like, oh, I'm gonna sell here, buy lower.
I think it also comes to like different market. For like BTC is relatively staying pretty much strong. Like we can all see that, right? But if you were, as most people were, trading alts, then lots of them are basically getting massacred through this. Lots of them are, way lower than they were in April. Lots of them are lower than they were during that, even like June low, basically, like that low that BTC printed at 53K in July. Lots of alts are already below that low, and so it really comes to that where I think like BTC is kind of the direction for the market, but if it's not sending, then alts are not sending. And I still have huge issues with, like, I just hope that BTC finally, as all of you, as probably anyone, we all hope that BTC finally leaves this range and sets a directionality. And me being a bull by heart, being a bull on Bitcoin since like very early days, since 2016, I do hope it goes to the upside as soon as possible. But I just think that, like I acknowledge that we had, and I said so on the daily, where BTC reclaimed the daily structure there. But when there is a market or like reclaim of structure within a range, and then you create another lower high on the weekly, it's a different scenario than when it happens within a trend. Not to mention that, like, what ETH is doing, right? Like ETH is selling off so sharply, and again, like that's why the market is, especially the crypto market, I think it's way more clear in equities right now what's going on there versus how to play it with crypto. But like if you're gonna look at ETH and BTC, right? BTC has created a lower low on the weekly, now confirmed another lower high, but on the daily it's staying stronger versus like ETH is way weaker on the daily time frame, but vice versa is stronger on the weekly time frame, where it has created lower highs but not lower low just yet. So like in that regard, it's still pretty confusing, and I still think there are lots of risks in the market that lots of people are just not appreciating right now. But I do hope that those risks are gone soon. Not seeing that right now. I do hope they are gone soon, and then we can resume up only market. But yeah.
What do you think about Tommy's thesis that this will probably resolve in probably the next 5 days, roughly, give or take?
You mean equities?
Everything in general. If I'm wrong, Tommy, correct me.
No, I think the selling at least like should probably be done within the next few days. At least that's kind of my base case, that this is a mid-cycle correction. I guess if data continues to deteriorate, we can be flexible with that, but it's not really my expectation.
I think that equities, yes, as I said in the beginning, I think where VIX is at right now. Let me see. Yeah, I think VIX is kind of looking like VIX is going to probably top again in the next 5 days. I think we probably are going to get a strong bounce from equities today or early next week. Like of that, I am pretty certain, or like have high probabilities. And as I said, I think equities could still even make a new all-time highs. Still, do not have to, but they could. Definitely, what I'm seeing is a bounce from here, because when VIX breaks out, it like confirms that something is going on, but it doesn't mean that insta jeet, right? Like that we just going to start jeeting from here, because this is where panic is happening, and when there is a panic, a counterparty gotta step in and the market bounces basically. But what I do see happening again is where the equities are, in my opinion, in a topping formation over the next year, possibly. Again, I cannot predict the time, just like I couldn't at when BTC was at 20K, but I do see them hitting topping formation right here. How it results
What
in
if-
crypto, that
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
that could be different, right? Like we saw that BTC and ETH can easily go down while equities are moving higher. So, but if like there is going to be a panic, crypto would probably go down with it. But like I'll go again level to level probably, as I always do.
I would love to know
What do you
Popeye-
think about? Yeah. That's actually a good point. We do have a special guest that we haven't been acknowledging. Go ahead, Popeye. Give us
Oh,
your
we got
give us
a
your
full panel today.
Yeah, we do.
Oh Jesus!
So Popeye,
Bobby,
what are
welcome.
you seeing? Were you positioned for this more recent downturn, or what are you seeing in the charts? I love your your TA and your perspective on the market. So would love to know what you're seeing on the lower time frames and the higher time frames.
Well, it seems that it's always the same money on the table, so it's a very big liquidity game. And I think that the biggest signal was after the big deviation we had below support down to 53. You would expect after a deviation like that to have enough fuel in the tank to at least reach resistance, to at least reach above 70K, but that was not the case. So when you fail to break after a very big liquidity hunt, bull trap, call it as you want, you might expect that that price move again down to hunt for more liquidity, and this shows that probably is always the same money on the table. So it's people stealing from is all of us stealing from each other. So the way alts are selling off and the way dominance is going up, it's really showing that alts are weak, except very few exceptions. I have some chart if you want guys to show.
Yeah, let's give them the chart,
Yes,
guys.
please.
So while
So when
Bitcoin
Papa,
is
when you
at,
say that it didn't come back to resistance, you mean when it reclaimed that macro range because it didn't get back to range highs? You're saying that's the reason why we're seeking liquidity lower.
yeah, I mean, what you would expect after a move like this, I think the move that you, Louis, were predicting very nicely. I mean, after you have this move, you would expect at least to want some liquidity on the top here, or to at least reach resistance. But failure to move forward here, to move up here, it gives you the impression that there is not enough fuel in the tank, so we are moving down again. And the level I see that could be interesting to do some business could be this very big gap we form here on the way up. So just using the 3-day chart to say this gap around here, we have the fib pocket that I drew it before. Around this level could be an area for a bounce after another liquidity hunt around here, or down to support. I agree with Will that if we lose support once again, it would be the third time, and that would not be a very nice sign. And this wall range would take more the shape of a distribution rather than an accumulation. The context here is also important because August is usually very low volatility. So I would not be surprised to have some fuckery here for another 3-4 weeks, and then a range resolution by the end of August. I do agree with what Will was saying about it, but still is range bound. Jack is sorry. I still see the price moving within this range from 4K to lower 3K and playing this liquidity game. The main difference I see in it that makes me very cautious is that we have a bunch of lows here, never been properly taken out. So I might see a justification to long again. I longed, I think, here and took profit here and then closed it at break even yesterday. I might see the reason to open a long again if this demand holds and we see a reclaim of this range here and see some bullish structure. Not because I'm bullish on it, but because support is support until it's not. So whenever I see a lower price frame bullish structure at support, I find a better justification to long. It looks weak, but again, I might see a easier reason to long it as we are at support, rather than to long Bitcoin near to mid-range. So it might be justificable to scalp long Bitcoin around the mid-range, but for swing long, I would wait down 60K. While for it, I find a better risk reward to find a long exposure here. Not saying it will outperform, but still the risk reward would be higher. Solana, I think, was the outperformer of the last week in the macro caps, and there are some worrying signs here. We are losing the 4-hour trend, and we are losing this demand and the fee pocket. So again, there is a lot of poor lows here. Not sure you can see on the chart. Let me clean up a bit. So Solana could be interesting if we take out some of these poor lows here and then again form some sort of structure after some liquidity and we move again. But the fact that we will losing the 4-hour trend and we breaking down, again, for a range trader, the real area to do business is down here. Probably many Sol enthusiasts will not be happy to see Sol back again at 140, 130. But honestly,
if I may have a question there on Sol. So if that yellow is to get hit, right? Wouldn't this range resolve to lower prices?
I'm not. I can tell you my feeling. So it's but
given how
as
we
long as
swept the range high.
Usually no. Then this is very, Jack, this can be very subjective. No, I'm trying to be. So I use the swing low, swing high of the first move. So I still would expect this area to be visited. We have a lot of untapped eyes here. So these are all. This is all liquidity here. So we have a lot of stuff to be taken. So I would be bullish again at the range low. I would be trying to look for entries around this area. The risk reward and the possibility of all this liquidity are being taken. Sorry, mistake. These were not taken while this was taken. So I would not give a breakdown for granted. I mean, it's statistically you will always be a winner if you turn bullish at support and bearish at resistance. So once again, this area for me is an area to look for long. Might be wrong this specific time on Sol, but in the long turn, I would be. Also, you would still confirm a bullish structure on the daily, no? I mean, if you or weekly, daily, if you see here, this was probably the last low.
One of the things we pointed out on yesterday's show, Pop, I don't know if you've noticed it, but the Solana and coin charts are basically the exact same They trade as
Yeah.
literally the exact same asset.
Yeah. I've noted that.
And given where coin is, right, Tommy, you know that this is my, and then you can continue, Papai, just quickly. You guys know that I was very bearish on coin and I sold my all stack at the range highs there. And I was anticipating this, so I sold, right? And then I was waiting for a bearish confirmation, which did happen. And like I was saying that BTC or like the whole crypto is very much correlated, or like Coinbase is very much correlated to the whole crypto moves. So if Coinbase is going to go down, what does that like imply for BTC and others, right? And that's kind of my worry there as well.
Ooh,
Yeah,
bottom's
So
I
in.
think
what
that
like
as long as coin can trade around this level, shouldn't be not bad. I mean, you have a lot of flows here to take, maybe a liquidation event here, and go back in business. It likes to
That's
respect
exactly my take.
the coin like to respect the daily or the 4 hours. So now we lost the 4 hour. So next area of interest would be the daily. And look, you have the daily very well aligned with support and with the fib level, and probably some order block or demand that created here. You know, this was the impulse. This was the impulse that break this important resistance. So this impulse now has been chopped out, retrace. Then if you go up and reclaim this support, should be good to go. But again, I think context is important. Somebody was writing in the comment, August is choppy, so I think the key now is not be chop out too much. So aggressive move, that is not the place to build a very long position. I mean, you can DCA and you will be fine, but there will be probably some other liquidation event. I wanted, guys, show you a couple of charts that I haven't seen really discussed on X. ICP is something that I rarely trade, but it doesn't look bad here. I don't know if he's under the radar of anybody, but look, he's holding this support pretty well after this very big manipulation event. And when these levels are in line with a reliable trending, like the 4-hour EMA was pretty well respected on the way up. Here you might have something tradable, actionable. I mean, the level is clear, and once this level is lost, you understand that it's just continuing to downtrend, because it's a matter of fact this is downtrending. But this is an actionable level where you can build up something.
I really like that. I really like that setup.
I was monitoring this since the morning, and actually didn't break down. I mean, you have a sell-off, so you see this level is well defended. So you will probably find divergences here. So you can clearly see the move down. RSI is moving a divergency. Divergences are a meme if you don't use in the proper context, but you know, you have a layer of things that you can consider. You have a support, you have the 4-hour trend, you have a divergency, you have a very big sell-off on the rest of crypto, and I have no idea why ICPs didn't even print a lower low on the 4-hour. So I actually, guy, was busy with you. Otherwise, I would probably open some long around here. You can layer it.
It would have been Euro scalping already.
Yeah, I mean, you have a very clear level. I mean, just saying for, let's say, educational purpose, but this low was not taken down, so you can hide your stop here, and then you can look for some move up and take profit again.
I'll tell you what,
a
lot of these older coins, I think are going to have a massive comeback when we do find a low. People are just way underexposed to these. We've noticed it with Aave too. You know, I gave a shout out to Aave in the Discord, and you know we're already up decent on it. But you could tell a lot of the, even if you zoom out on ICP, I don't know what it looks like on like the daily or 3-day. These coins from last cycle are really starting to form nice bottoms, and they're starting to outperform all the garbage that people have been chasing over the last 5 to 6 months. And maybe it's just a gut feeling. I don't know. Will there be stuff that outperforms it if we get our full altcoin cycle? Absolutely. But I just think people are fed up with the meme coin chasing and all that nonsense. And eventually these older tokens that actually so and so like do something will start to catch a bid and lead us out of this these lows here. Can you zoom out on the daily on ICP? I just kind of want to see what it looks like because I haven't looked at the chart.
I tend to agree. Real quick, I'll be fast. I've said this since like Q1, Q2. Utility is going to take control of the space, regardless of whether people want it to or not. Like people can talk shit all they want about it. And ICP has been a bear market low that I've been kind of on top of for a while. I mean, I was picking this up around like $4 to $5, man. Like,
yeah, go to the
super low, and then 250, same thing.
Does that mean that we're all gonna bid DIME again, brother?
It's just utility, bro. These VCs are not getting out and not rinsing people.
Modularity is it's as a utility as you can get. Are we all gonna buy OP again also?
Wabi,
I don't know about OP,
Wabi,
bro,
do you think the best modularity coin to buy is actually going to be SAY instead of TIA?
Probably, because
I was thinking that, bro. That's a good question.
TIA has like an unlock in October where like 150% of supply is coming onto the market. And if you guys just pull up, so check this out, right? Check this out. If you pull up Arbitrum and you look at like mid-February and you compare it to with Pepe and pretty much any other asset that rallied like FET or Render, you'll see that despite the market expanding in February, Arbitrum took a dookie. It wasn't really practicing mewing, and so it got mocked by other altcoins.
Oh God, here we go. English, Wabi. English.
So in October, right, we're gonna be 6 months post halving, right, and usually like 6 months, right, 6-7 months after the halving, that's when the market truly starts to uptick, right? So I'm kind of feeling like TIA will probably nuke while the market expands, and SAY is having its unlock this month. So there's a possibility for SAY to be bottomed out more than Celestia. And the only thing I have to say, though, is that unfortunately, Cosmos, what a shocker, right? Cosmos got absolutely grittied on yesterday because one of their protocols, Kuji, they had like a situation where the team basically nuked all of their supply and they went down like 60% in a day, and then the day before that they got mogged again, and they basically had Terra Luna. They had a vulnerability, like Terra V2 had a vulnerability. Shocker, right? And so one of like their main liquidity tokens, Astroport, got nuked. Got nuked. And so I'm not really sure what to say about like things built on Cosmos anymore, but yeah, it's so nasty. Like that ecosystem is just cursed. It's been cursed for like 2 years now since Luna.
Forever.
Yeah. So Adam, don't even get me started, right? So
yeah,
like I've been saying, dude, like whether you like memes, whether you don't like them, whether you love them and you're obsessed about them, I honestly think the best trade of this entire cycle where you can, go in with size is Pepe and Mog, hands down. I don't really care about anything else to scale in with size. Maybe Brett, maybe. But
Pepe's actually held up pretty well like adjusted for beta. I mean, I'm not saying it won't trade lower if majors go lower, but
yeah,
it's been encouraging to see it hold up like that.
But one thing I'll say, man, is that like the pullback that we're seeing on equities, like that's a flashing. I mean, that's some strong sell pressure. Like we're down 12% from the highs of last month, right? So I think bulls have to kind of step it up, man. To be frank, I think since we bottomed in Q4 of 2022, I think this is the deepest pullback that we've had on the Qs. So yeah, and Nvidia is just like chilling now at those.
I think, Bobby, I think lots of people will be mistaken in thinking here that like it's going to be down only from here. I think just like always, people fail to understand it's that nothing goes up or down in a single line, and things take time to rotate. I think the market, just as me, was pricing this in already, but now that like all the bad news came out as usual, that will mean the panic happens, which is happening today. But that's usually the time where the counterparty, quote unquote, market makers, we know how that works, load up big and the market bounces. So this rotation can still take time for equities to play out. But I think, as you say, today was like your first sign that things are off. And they will, like, things are fucked in the world right now, and they will not get unfucked so easily. And again, like, you have so many signs, like freaking gold is rallying to new all-time highs after new all-time highs. It doesn't get more blatant than that, right? But there is more to it. It's a long topic.
I don't want to sound like a permabull, but I mean, we top. This is S&P. We got a top at 1618. That's 1618.
Wow.
Wow.
We topped that at the 1618. Oh,
what the fuck? I was telling you guys like for the past weeks.
Oh boy, the 1618. I'm very familiar with those numbers. 1618.
Go ahead, Popeye. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah. And now we are just retesting the high time frame trend. I mean, it's still in very bullish territory. I mean, I would be particularly concerned if we lose this low here. But I mean, we are uptrending in most of the trends. The 4 hour has been usually pretty reliable on S&P. I don't know how you have all the history you want to see the reliability, and was usually a very good area to load. So I mean, it might be lost. It might start to downtrend. I just don't see it now. So I guess you can call a top after this move. You could say this was the top. No, it was not. You could call a top in many other places down here, but it was not the top. I mean, it's this was a top. This was probably a double top. This was always the 4 hour holding and holding. Then it broke. It break and it gave a proper market structure break. I don't see it here. It's very genuine retest of the 4 hour trend. And whatever is above here, it would be still a proper bullish structure. It's a 5 hour drop, 5% drop, I think, similar to the one we had here. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I mean, the equity markets were obviously very, they've been on a crazy rally over the last year and a half. And I think they were just, people were getting uncertain because like the market was literally just kept going up. And something like today, is that, I mean, not that this was the actual top, but this is kind of part of this, pullback we're seeing. The market was just looking for a reason, to kind of like to cool off, to get a pullback. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you could see it in the charts, but I mean, like, you could go back to every probably local top that you see that end up just being a pullback, and you could find some sort of news event that was like, oh, like this was a bad number, or this so and so happened in the news, and then that then that pullback ensues. So I mean, realistically, if you just zoom out and you stick to the technicals, This is just a healthy uptrend and a healthy pullback. Like, I mean, look what happens every time like it pulls back. I mean, you're better off just playing it as a pullback than trying to call a market top, because if you try to call most of these as market tops, you got wrecked. History is on your side. And we're seeing a correction in the equity markets. I see it as nothing more than that. On an unemployment number, we're gonna nuke this hard. Like, I don't know, there's something, it doesn't seem right to me. And it seems like the market just needed an excuse to kind of puke, some late longers and late entrance to the market, and just give the market a healthy pullback and consolidation that is well warranted in the market conditions that we've seen over the past year and a half.
I mean, with this kind of trend, it's not a matter of being right or wrong. You will be eventually wrong.
Right.
But you would be right 10 times if you were long, not calling for all these stops. And you would have made money longing every dip. Only the last time you would be right calling for a top. So I think here is the same. It's not a matter of being right or wrong. It's just a matter of making money. So as long as this holds, you long it. Once you will be wrong, but the top will be one, while the dip will be many to buy and to load and to load and to load. So statistically, you are smarter and wiser and probably richer to long any of this. The last time you will be lose, you will need to be smart to cut it fast, because it's very clear. It's lost. It's lost the structure. It lost the trend. It's starting to make lower low, lower highs. You probably have some sort of divergences on your momentum indicator. So this is a good go for me. I'm not trading stocks, but I would long it here.
And there's market demand. There's like a demand area right there too that lines up with that. You could clearly see it just from the naked eye. Like, we're coming into market structure on this dip as well, and people are going to get bearish here likely. They're like, oh, it's over. Time to sell after the pullback or the consolidation's almost over. We're coming into those, that trend that Popeye has. We're coming into demand that's right to the left. Clear market structure that usually should be hold up as support. And this is when people decide to panic, and that's why most people buy high and sell low rather than buying low and selling high.
I mean, this was the time to be bearish, not now.
Exactly.
I mean, you can see there is a sort of breakdown. There is a sort of loss of market structure on the 1 hour, and you practically have a perfect retest.
Yeah.
So this area was logically an area to be short. Low time frame short, looking for a retest of the 4 hour and long again.
Yeah, and also we've had $3 trillion wiped out from the stock market today. Right on time for International Clown Week. You guys knew it's International Clown Week, so wouldn't it be something if a ton of people get bearish on equities now after the Qs pull back 12% and SPX nukes 5% since their highs a couple of weeks ago, right? Man, and also BTC is sitting on top of on daily structure, so like if bulls do have to step in, to be quite frank. And now like the market is trying to price in a 50 basis point cut. And if we get that 50 basis point cut, unfortunately, bro, I think we're going to 48K. If we
has the Fed surprised us in the last year and a half, though?
The percentages are
it's overreaction. It's an overreaction, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think this will eventually.
It's not, Louis. Watch the yield market go.
Dude, we are going to 48K if the Fed cuts by 50 basis points. You can quote me on that. Clip that chat, and yeah, I'm not going through that, brother.
I think this will eventually be a tailwind.
But guys, do you know what that is, man? Like, if the Fed cuts 50 basis points, and like the sentiment from most crypto bros is, man, who cares? We're going to be a lot higher in 6 months. Do you understand like the pain that is coming to altcoins, which most people have, right? Like most people are not allocated to BTC. I'll tell you that. And like if we go to 48K, like alts are going down another 60-65%. TIA like is very close to making a lower low, like a lower low from like that $4 region that it hit like a month ago. And that is going to trickle down to WIF. That's going to trickle down to Pepe. It's no exception for anything. Even things on pump.fun, like, bro, like there's no money to be made there anymore, right? Like if Ansem doesn't tweet it, like it doesn't do any numbers anymore, right?
I saw a coin that Ansem tweeted the other day, or at least talked on, didn't even move. Didn't even move.
But
Dude, people are out of money. The people that are chasing the micro craps, you can even call them that. People are out of money and they're sick of it, man. And that's what some of the comments say that meme coins. As meme coins, I mean like micro caps. Like Pepe and Andy are two of my main positions. When I say like the crap, it's like the micro 1 million, like sub 2 million market cap coins. That's what I'm referring to. I'm not referring to stuff like Pepe and stuff like that. Just so to make that clear.
Yeah, always fade Wabi. I'm not sure, brother. Right when we were at 53K, I was calling for at least a retest of range highs, brother. And as far as like one thing I do want to mention with Nero, I think like whatever liquidity was gonna pump like any token, they all went to Nero on ETH, and that thing practically went from like 2 mil to like 200 plus mil, and that's the meat of the move, man. That is the meat of the move, but. Yeah, I said this a couple of days ago, but if Nero doesn't rug from like here to October or whatever, Nero's probably gonna do the same exact thing that that SHIB did, to be frank. And it's on ETH as well, right? And I do believe SHIB like is on ETH. And
I do think that dynamic was interesting, Wab, that you had Nero totally unable to surpass what, like 60 or 70 million on Solana, but it's already
they were
three
going
times
back and
that.
forth, dude. Like when you have that happen, you just can't, like, it's too weird. It's too weird. But the one on ETH is like, whatever. All right, you know, I missed it. But if we have a big pullback, which I'm pretty sure there will be a pullback at some point in the next like 1 to 2 months, it'll be just like writing Pepe in February, right? You know, but yeah, if it doesn't rug, mind you, because during downturns anything can happen to like these newer memes, right? But if you think about it, right, like, you know, Ethereum is often underlooked when it comes to like how high something can go. I mean, just look at Pepe and Mog, right? We've had Pepe, Mog. What are some other things on ETH, to be frank, outside of like the boys club tickers with memes? I don't know. But I think it was about time we probably add like a new dog or something like that. No, we're not promoting Nero, man. This is just my dubious speculation. Calm down.
Do we need another dog coin? Does the market really need another dog coin?
On ETH, it is what it is, bro. Like, do we need another?
Never enough.
Like, do we need another L1? Do we need some like new interoperability thing? Like, dude, even Elixir had an issue the other day.
I saw that.
Yeah, and it's
Wabi,
like,
do you know what we need, Wabi? We need to go from coins, from the dilution back into implosion, where like instead of expanding projects, we want them to start coming together again.
Yeah. We also need to bring up the soybeans chart. That would be excellent, man.
We need it.
Yeah, because the likes
hold up
enough.
I'm sorry.
They're lacking. Yeah, they're
lacking it. Oh man,
they're lacking protein. That's what
on a Friday.
They're lacking in their mewing, man. You know, before you rizz up the chat, you need to mod and gritty up the likes.
This is the audience's fault. We're going here.
You're gonna be mogged by soybeans.
The brain rot is on you guys.
I blame the audience for this.
Yeah, like if you want, look, man, if you want to go to the crypto Riz party, smash up those like buttons, right? We're here joined by Turkish Hagrid Dingle.
Dingle.
The TikTok Chris party, baby. Turkish Quanville Dingle, man. Oh man. Yeah. But yeah, sentiment, like, I mean, everything is like now officially kind of like at key structural levels, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm hoping for at least like, you know, a retest of like 68, 69. And yeah, I'll probably like have to cut some stuff at that point.
I honestly think that if BTC goes to 68K from here, I think we start ripping way higher.
Oh gosh, skibbity toilet, man. That would be real skibbity.
Skibbity.
Lobby. No more
Yeah,
brain rot.
on skib. On skib jackets. Are you capping, man?
Wobby, you
What are we
made me
capping
about
about?
3 years
Check the
younger
vibe.
on this stream.
Say that again. Say that again, Tommy.
You made me about 3 years younger in the last like 15 minutes of the stream.
Oh, we dude, look, man, we just need to check the vibes. All right. We should all just have some grimace shakes, maybe have some Travis Scott burgers the Yaki way, and just relax.
The Yaki way, bro. What is going on?
My Telegram is getting blown up, dude, by project leads saying, "Hey, do you want to like talk about our project now?" And it's like, "What are you talking about, dude? Your chart is down like 85%."
Now, you want to talk about it now or now?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Like, Wabi has aura, probably, man. I've got some aura. Thank you, man.
Got Riz. Does Robbie have Riz?
Look, man, I've got W Riz like Kaisenot.
What did you just say to me?
Oh, no.
What did you just call him?
But look,
I'm going to take it as disrespect.
But look, if someone like, you know, looks at me kind of sussy, you know what I'm saying, then I'm gonna have to phantom tax them. So.
Jesus, man. I don't like, I'm on the internet all the time. I've never heard some of these words.
Yeah, same, bro. Same.
That's because they're not words.
I'm on the wrong part of the internet, apparently. Or the right one, depending on your perspective.
Yeah. You should pull up Just pull up smoking chicken fish. SCF.
I did see that.
No, don't do that. Don't,
Dude,
no,
that is a
Don't
clean
smoke
chart if
chicken.
I've ever seen one. But yeah, funny tickers, right? I do think some things on Solbra are kind of like saturated, right? Especially with like mid caps and all of that. Like, but I do think, dude, like you probably want to buy that first rate cut. Like if they cut by 50, bro, we're not getting cuts in October. I mean in November, excuse me. But October.
What do you guys think of the fact that the 2-year yield is currently trading at 3.9%?
Yeah, I was going to ask you,
good.
Jack, because I wanted to
Good
know
for
what
yields.
you were talking about when you mentioned
3%
yields.
coming.
I want to know your thoughts, guys.
Oh my god.
Let's bring up Joe. Is Joe in the chat? Uncle Joe, Carlos, are you here? Let's talk about the long end.
But Joe was saying that yields are going to like 7%.
What if we chart the 2-year bonds with junk bonds?
No, we're not.
For real though, I want to know.
Let's bring up Tone Vase and Michael Green on the
Dude,
show.
Popeye is here. Like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Let's get back to it, guys.
This is
Jack,
good.
I know
This
you
is
mentioned
good.
the yields before. What were you talking about when I said I thought that the reaction to the unemployment was an overreaction? I heard you were saying something, but you got cut off.
Yeah, well, first of all, let me know what you guys think of the 2-year yield being at 3.9%.
Okay.
I don't know much about yields. I'm going to be totally honest. All I know is yields down. Usually, risk ask gets up. No, is that not the thing?
No, opposite.
There you go. That's why I don't follow yields. I don't know about it. So what does that tell you, Jackus? You tell me.
Yields are getting bought, right? Or not yields, but we'll say bond. And when bonds are getting bought, it's fear in the market typically.
But why are people buying bonds if the Fed is going to cut rates? It's like you're willingly throwing your net worth down the skibbity toilet over the next couple of months.
No. Well, it works vice versa. But I understand. Like at first, I also had a difficulty understanding it. But like, your bond value goes up if you bought at higher interest rates. So like yields go down, but you bought listen, it works like this, right? You bought a bond at that is yielding you 5.5% PA, right? And then the yields go down, and they are now trading at 3.9%, which means that anyone that buys new bonds right now at 3.9%, they're only yielding 3.9%, which means that the value of the bonds that you bought at 5.5% is way higher than those that you can buy right now. So like the value of those bonds goes up, right? Does that make sense? If not, don't be afraid to ask.
Yes. Yes, it does. So if you were to sell the bonds to somebody else, they'll buy them for more, essentially. When you that's why you buy when they're at peak, and then you sell them when you're at lows, and then people will buy them for more to get the yield from them.
Well, when the price of the bond goes up, the yield goes down, right? That's all it is. So
Yeah.
when you have yields coming down, people are shoving bonds, essentially. You have TLT.
Like it's as simple as this. If you had two bonds, right? One is and I'm gonna use arbitrary numbers. If you were to buy one bond that's yielding you 5% or one that's yielding you 10% yearly, which one would you buy? You're on new though.
He would buy the 0% yield.
Wabi.
You're on mute.
What was the question? I'm sorry. I was on the Discord, like reading stuff.
Oh, okay.
I was reading
talking to a door here.
I was reading.
I'm talking to a door. Guys, up only, no pullbacks.
Hold on, dude. I was reading Max's channel, dude. I'm taking my advice. We did 68, man. I don't know, brother. Like I don't see us making quarterly highs in September if we're getting a 50 basis point hike. Like I'm not risking that crap.
No, he was talking about bonds.
Talking about bonds? Talking about bonds, dude? Oh, boy.
We're talking about the short end, Wabi. We're talking about the short end, actually.
It's a new meme coin called bond.
Look, man. Look. I like talking about the long end, the Aki way, right? Don't put me on Skib talking about the short end. All right, that sounds like pure cap. All right,
Wabi, we just hit a killer trade on the long end. I've been talking about it for weeks.
Man,
he has been. Look at this printing.
Gosh, the 20-year Treasury bond ETF. Bro. Oh boy,
you will trade the long end, and you will like it, Wabi.
Wabi, you're trading the long end. You just don't know it.
Man, I had some guy on Spaces. He was saying how like there's no, when you're trading crypto, you're not trading crypto. You're trading bunk johns on balance sheets.
Bunk
johns.
Yeah, it's always strange, bro. Q3 is always like it's always a quarter where everyone just has L-Riz when it comes, to like I don't know. Market alpha or whatever. Like it's just a choppy. It's a choppy.
How do you get more Riz?
No, Will, don't.
You just you don't break your mewing streak. It's that simple. Right? You just edge your prime and you talk to some D1 bops. That's it.
I'm just curious, Tucker. Has anybody been monitoring the viewer count? Has it been going down or up?
It's been going up. We're at almost 300 goons right now. 300.
That's low. That's too low.
Look at ESBFX. Look what he said.
It took my like away.
Yeah.
Bro.
Every Rizzler's last thought should be of Ohio. That's right, baby. That's right, man. Follow me. Why does my son keep asking if I have skibbity Riz? Is that a bad thing?
All I'm gonna tell you, boys, is study Ohio. All right,
study Ohio. That's right, brother.
Study Ohio.
That's where Thanos is, bro. With all the Sigma Infinity Stones.
Oh,
You know,
I have a Thanos ENS. Tucker knows, but I'm not going to share.
Yeah, he does.
It's based on a Telegram sticker pack. If you know, you know.
oh man, remember when people were talking about going on Ton and buying memes? Oh boy, that was like
Dude, I still have some ton on chain.
oh man, dude. In
Should I
Q1
write it off as a tax harvest at this point?
Probably.
lost the tax loss harvesting. Yeah.
But I'm liking the comments, bro. The chat is going absolutely crazy. I'm pretty sure we now have some people from Twitch right here and on Kick in the chat, right?
Hey, Wabi, did you find out the contract address for bonds?
Is it on AVAX? I'm pretty sure it's on AVAX. Right? Hey, did you see how AVAX tweeted out that they now have like the Mississippi DMV on their chain? Like, bro,
What?
yeah, like
No way.
yeah, like they have like they're tokenizing like DMVs on AVAX. So I'm guessing
That's
that's
a brutal chart, man.
pretty bullish.
Dude, it is over for AVAX.
Would
Would you
AVAX
guys believe me if I told you that AVAX made all-time highs on open interest this cycle?
Yeah.
I believe it because Hisaka was tweeting like crazy about it, and it hit like $80 or something, right? It's like Livy Dunn was the market maker, and Kai Cenat was like, you know, the lead KOL.
The lead KOL. And Dwight Howard was the lead KOL. Come on now.
That's not a
Dwight
joke.
Howard.
That's
the
literally
worst
not a
part.
joke. Yeah.
Yeah, and they paid Kaleo like $13 million too.
Damn,
Yeah, crazy, right?
man, oh man.
Crazy.
I'd look for this. Bet you get something like that.
That's probably a
I'm
cycle.
going to
top.
continue to reiterate. You can tell by charts like this, we are. I don't know. My cat just like. I don't know whatever adjective Wabi would use. He skirted right by me, but
He's real. He's really
Rizzling.
sus right now. He's real sus. Your cat is acting real sus.
I've been saying cyclically, I think we're coming out of an echo bubble and about to enter a super cycle. I think charts like AVAX and some of these other assets that didn't make highs over the past year and a half are evident of that. Like,
Are up next,
they're
right?
going to be
Up
great buys
next.
soon, but man, I'm
Well,
not.
dude,
Here.
then I'm saying it's already played then, right? Like if even in an echo bubble, you don't go back down here, right? Like you do this,
Yeah, we're here.
right?
We're here.
Like you're there, in
We're
my
here.
opinion, right?
I
Like,
agree. We're here.
I think
pull out the old
timing-wise,
playbook here. What else?
we're close to a bottom.
That looks like the SPX, bro.
Dude, we need some more goons to press the green button. That's what we need.
Well,
Wouldn't
our market is
Bobby,
saturated.
I've been hitting the
Our
green
market's
button
saturated.
all morning. I've been
Well,
hitting the green
we're
button.
gonna
all
you're gonna have
morning.
to make a few calls and really get the pump on the coin because the vibes in the chat right now are not really mogging.
Like if you actually think about it, like people are making micro cap meme coins and just like rotating into these things, and like half of crypto, like half of the retail crypto are just playing this endless cycle of micro cap roulette. When like last cycle you had, I mean, there were obviously a lot of options last cycle, but thousands of coins less were like less options to invest in last cycle, and eventually the ones that had strength people end up funneling into, and that's how you got your altcoin action. But there is a lot of saturation in this market that which has been dealt with over the past 5 months because a lot of people have gotten burned, and I think we're at the point where people are starting to say like screw this, and maybe they'll start looking at other stuff that's coming off of lows and actually, is showing some promising price action that's not going to get dumped by one dev. You know what I mean?
Louis, what we should do is study Thomas Apey. I'm geeked out on soda and crackers. We're going up soon. In the comment section. Shout out to how do you put a comment in like the little jumbotron thing? Tucker, can you do that? Thomas Sapay. I'm geeked out on soda and crackers. That's right, baby. Maybe put some,
Arnie?
maybe put some cheese on it, and then like some sauce, the Aki way.
Who's Arnie?
Who is Arnie? Arnold
Someone said I
Schwarzenegger.
sound like Arnie
Who's Arnie?
when I said
Schwarzenegger.
thousands and thousands. Papa, you looking for entries here? What are you doing over there? I know you're scalping over there, so I'm doing something.
No, I'm nothing, guys. I'm having fun.
You know, market participants are getting desperate when people are dropping contract addresses in the general chat. And you already know who it is, brother. Our
The desperation is
our
real.
favorite community member, man.
Who?
You already know, man.
Evan Casey.
No,
Oh,
bro.
no.
Dude, Evan Casey is just XRP, man.
Big Albert.
When is Evan? I hate to ask the question again, but when is Evan Casey coming on Market Check?
Never.
I know he lurks. He still watches us basically every day because he mentioned it on Discord the other day. I know he's lurking in those views. He's just he's not saying anything.
Bro, Evan, you know how an Evan Casey episode is gonna happen, bro? Look, he's just gonna pull out the XRP chart and be like, "Boom, bam! Watch out! Here it comes! BTC to 300K in 2 months," and then just leave.
We're gonna need to do a
And then just leave.
one-on-one stream with Jackus and Evan Casey when XRP hits $3.
I mean,
no
guys,
cap, dude.
what are we talking about here,
Dude,
man?
No cap. If they lift that XRP like news thing or whatever, you'll probably see like 150% candle on XRP. To be honest, and that's just facts. Like when that thing runs, it likes to run hard. But if you see like, I don't know, if you see XRP at new all-time highs, cycle's probably over. To be frank, like
How's the like button? How's the like button?
it feels like cap. To be
We're at
honest,
214 right now, Will.
yeah.
Jesus.
There's too much yapping in the comments and not enough. Not enough.
People don't like to hit the like button on deep red days, man. It's just it is what it is.
I mean,
And on
is it really,
Fridays.
though?
It is a Friday also, so
I mean, we are at an hour and 30 minutes. I say we can keep going for 5 more if we can get up to 250. We call it.
How about
Yeah.
we start talking about parallelizing the EVM and talk about proof of liquidity? What did you say, Snorlax? What do you think of the concept of bear chain and what it really means for the interoperability of the multi-chain dynamics?
what do I think about the future of multi-chain dynamics? Tucker, let's check in on the TIA chart.
Dime, bro.
Pull it up, Hagrid. Pull up Tia against BTC, man.
Oh no.
Well, you know what's crazy, bro? Like when I
do it.
When I said that I sold that
He
thing,
said, "Don't do it."
when I said that I sold that thing, like the amount of hate that you get when the token rallies and you sell, it's kind of crazy, right? And you know what's crazy? You know what's even crazier? That chart was the most beautiful chart in the last 18 months since we bottomed from FTX.
Man,
Bro, it hit the 1618, the 2618, and it peaked right at the 3618. And I know because I asked Tucker where these levels were every single day.
Yes, he did. I can
Tucker, can
confirm
you go to the
that.
Sol BTC chart for me?
Bro, that is crazy. Dude, it's basically at all-time lows right
Go
now.
back to 2020.
Oh, you're talking about this.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Dude, if
Very
Tia pulls that
interesting.
off, bro.
Saying this
The
is
thing is-
Tia.
That other
Tommy,
fractal looks a lot more
Tommy,
similar, in my opinion. The one
Tommy,
above
the
it.
thing is that Tia has 20% inflation. That's the thing. And Sol has only ever had like 4%, 5% inflation. Like Tia is literally going to have like 50+% more on its FDV in the next year. That is crazy.
I think Say is the better comparison because we look at that Sol USD
Yeah.
and Sol Bitcoin chart and it's like, okay, what altcoins are cyclically maybe where Sol was in 2020? I mean, I will say the biggest thing that scares me about TIA is the seed price was literally 10 cents. So it can theoretically continue to come down pretty
Forever.
deep. But say
Forever.
has a little bit less predatory tokenomics. I wouldn't call them great because the FDV is still like 2 or 3 times the current circulating market cap. But structurally, I see a lot of similarities here with Say and Solana back in 2020. So I'm keeping my eye on this coin. As much as I hate trading it, I am keeping my eye on it as an investor.
Mm-hmm.
What about Ondo?
Let's finish out with Popeye giving us some alpha, please.
Do it. Let's see. Oh, I gotta go
What is
back
that,
to him.
Popeye? I need some
Yeah,
Popeye.
throw it up.
Oh, it's the Doge guy. I love when TradingView does that.
I've never gotten it.
I don't know why he's doing it. No, I just map. Hence, I think we discussed it last time I joined you guys, and I still I still see it looking promising comparing to the rest of the market. Not really actionable as it's very wiki, but it looks is holding this breakout level after this massive consolidation, and now again doing this. I have no idea about the fundamentals, but it's still holding this long 200 days of consolidation. So comparing to the rest of the market, I think it looks headed to break again from here. Now it's giving a very nice pullback, and if this structure holds, I think it's a very good bet. If Bitcoin start to recover by the end of August, this is probably one that is going to perform very, very well.
Looks like a nice inverted head and shoulder continuation as well.
Yeah, you can
Like it.
make it something like this. Yeah.
You know what we call that pattern, Popeye?
Let me.
It's a good idea, yeah.
Total leverage trader death.
I thought you were gonna say skibidi toilet, skibidi toilet pattern, brother.
Yeah, no, I was thinking something that you saw something more masculine here.
And I wonder how Dime is looking like. I'm terrified to pull that chart up.
Easy, Popeye. Easy.
I'm terrified to pull that chart up. Pull it up now. Let's look at TIA. Let's get Dime.
What if you put McDonald's logo over that ENS chart?
Yeah.
Comment section from Top Notch. Dollar is dropping hard. If you held $100 this morning, it would be worth one skibidi right now. That's phantom tax for real. That's right, brother. That's right. Yeah.
People will learn. People will learn with dollar. Let them learn on their own.
That's right, dude. That looks like a hanging man pattern. What do you think, Hagrid?
A hanging man pattern, Wabi?
That's a candlestick, not a chart pattern.
Yeah. Tell him, Louis. Tell him. Yeah.
It's a skibidi.
I see that.
Someone is focusing on blast. Blast.
You might be joking.
That's crazy, bro. I'm going on blast, man. That's right. Wabi got that level 600 guy at. That's some W Riz, man. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment, man.
I saw someone was asking about Tau on the chat. It was looking promising, but
It's a start of a bottom. If I had to guess, if there is any.
Dude, I think a lot of these, man, they probably do like a double bottom or a deviation below, and that's the bottom until the cycle peak, to be frank.
That Tau downtrend is vicious. You know what it reminds me of is actually when, and some people will remember this, when QNT got listed on Binance Spot Market, it was in a downtrend for a while.
QNT got wrecked, man. I thought it was promising.
Very much reminds me
down
of that.
here. He's actually retesting that bottom now.
Yeah, I mean, now that I'm saying that, it probably is bottom. I think a lot of this stuff's bottom. I think a lot of these coins from last cycle are literally at high time frame demand, and these things are going to rip once we get a confirmed Bitcoin trend, whichever way it's going to go. I think we're coming to that point. And I think a lot of people are way underexposed to stuff like this. There's
Oh
easy
yeah,
layup
the
trades.
underexposure is insane right now.
I think most people are overexposed and are bleeding since
Yeah.
beginning of the year, man.
Overexposed to garbage,
No,
underexposed
no
to other
way.
garbage that's going to bounce soon.
I'm
Well,
not. I won't even cap, dude. I think like if you're starting off right, you know, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, right, start of Q4, I think you can turn that into six figures, no problem, by the end of Q4 next year. I still think we're in that kind of thing, right? Because like, if we just look at the way, you know, the cycle might play out, like I do think Q4, right after the election, if like Trump gets elected, you'll probably see a massive, 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 vicious rally from utility that has been down only for like 6 months, and then that'll rotate easily back into memes, right? And that's what I'm saying, to be honest.
I had to say something. Like I don't. I think if you've been playing since the beginning of the year and you're underwater, there's something fucking wrong with your trading and or investing. It's like severely wrong if you've been invested since the beginning of the year and you're down. It's almost you know, mathematically impossible for that to be a thing. Like you would have had to pick the most dumpster of the dumpsters plays. I just made up a word. Yes. To be underwater right now if you've been playing since.
You know what the funniest thing ever is, bro? When you talk about an altcoin and then it rips up 10x, and then like a few months later when it's down 80%, you'll have someone in the comment section talking about, hey, are you still bullish on this ticker? And it's like, wow, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's weird, man. Like I had someone like comment on an old tweet of mine when I was bull posting say at like 20 something cents or 30 something cents, something like that. And he's like, still bullish on say.
Well, the funny part is like I'm still up on almost all my picks. Like even shit that round tripped, it's still up from where I bought, right? And then so like that's why like I get so confused. Like a lot of people are like, man, I'm down so bad. It's like you're down because you got in extremely late in comparison to everybody else. You waited for the green candles to form rather than buying when I told you shit was extremely undervalued.
Right.
And that's where a lot of people have positioned. A lot of people position on the wrong side of the play on a lot of these.
It's can they learn their lesson and take whatever capital they have left, if they have any, and start bidding stuff that looks good. That's the question.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like I'm in on utility.
Poppy, let me ask you a question.
I think
how did you get into crypto?
Just,
oh, go ahead, man.
No, I was just answering to Will. I think the bigger problem for people underwater is a project like this one. I mean, you have a very massive run, and everybody's aping and going on all in here.
Yeah.
Totally
that peak right there, that peak where your trend line is at, that was the ETH
Yeah.
Denver. That was the ETH Denver complacency shoulder. When I was
DIME is a very popular coin around here. Gotta be honest.
Dude, so like the DIME lore is like basically like 6 months before TGE, I started saying like DIME is gonna rip off the bat. DIME's gonna rip off the bat, but
there are many cases like this of things newly listed that went just down.
But this is where you bid these now. This is where you come in and buy it.
The thing was,
a lot of these will turn around.
If you still have some money, the problem is
I wouldn't buy DIME.
I don't know about DIME. I don't know nothing about it. I'm just saying.
I think there are probably better bets on modularity than DIME.
Yeah, because with a lot of these tokens, bro, like there's more than just the chart. Like you need to pay attention to the emissions. You need to pay attention to the emissions and all that crap, and like what ecosystem it's a part of. Like because Cosmos is literally a massive hub of like liquidity extraction. Like anytime there's a hint of liquidity, like devs, they just give their money away to people that write threads, and that's it, right? Like,
Isn't that what Dime does though?
so they're basically like they're basically just another L1 on Cosmos. Like, I mean, the interface was all right, bro. It could have been something, but the thing is, like, their emissions are pretty bad, and they also made some faulty decisions when it came to their seed round. Like, it could have been something great. Maybe it does, right? Like, my gut feeling is that things like ENA, things like TIA, things like Say, et cetera, they'll likely pull. Like, if you guys pull up Aptos, like if you pull up APT, APT against the USDT pair, you'll notice that when the token launched in October, it bottomed at like $3, and then went all the way up to 20. And then throughout the year, like it didn't really do much. But when the market picked up, it started to rally again off of, $3-4, and then made like a huge double top kind of thing. I think it actually made like almost a new all-time high, but it failed short by a couple of cents or whatever. So I think like wherever Say bottoms, wherever Tia bottoms, and all that, ENA as well, I think at the very least they'll like match their USDT all-time highs, and who knows what happens after that, to be honest, right? Because as we all know, every quarter or every other quarter, the market dynamics kind of change. You know what I'm saying? Like 6 months ago, it was all about like, WIF and things on ETH and the new launches. And now 6 months later, it's all about like the next pumped up fun stuff and all of that. Like, dude, Boys Club tickers weren't even around 6 months ago. You know what I'm saying? So who knows what happens in the next 6 months? Who knows what Q1 of next year looks like? So I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities, especially when Ethereum breaks all-time highs. Like, dude, if ETH can break all-time high, why can't TIA or Say or ENA, right? But out of all those new tickers, bro, that have launched over this past year, I'd probably say like ENA and Say, because ENA is like literally programmed to go up when the market is fruitful, right? Like ENA pulled out like a 3x after TGE. So I'm still of the belief that ENA is probably going to be a good trade this bull run, but I don't have any right now, to be frank.
Man, that thing is
Do
red.
you want insane hopium on your Aptos
I
lobby?
don't. No, I don't like Aptos, to be honest. Yeah, man. But I think, yeah, man. Just too many alts, bro. Too many alts. Not enough market participants, right? Because like,
Yes.
even if we say, bro, like, oh, Polkadot, oh, AVAX, like they're at least gonna double top like Neo. Like if you pull up the Neo chart, right, you'll see that it went crazy in 2016 and 2017, and then the cycle after, right, in 2020, 2021, in May of 2021, it was like a few percentage points away from hitting all-time high, but it didn't, right? But the thing is, right, like even if you're saying, oh, at the very least, AVAX and some of these tokens from last cycle can at the very least pull off a double top, you're not understanding that the market is so much bigger right now. And everybody that's coming into crypto, they're going on Sol, they're going on Solana, brother. And once you get on ETH, like why would I divert my attention to any other protocol when I could literally just DCA into Pepe and Mog? Like Pepe and Mog is literally like bidding Solana and Luna all over again, dude. Like why get distracted? That's my thing. Why get distracted? So
what do you think about Bonk, Wabi?
I think
chart wise was one.
I think Bonk is going to do. I think Bonk is going to do numbers. It has unit bias, and I mean it's on the Solana phone, right? Like when you order a Solana phone, like still right now, you get like $1,000 in free Bonk. So like, and I remember like mentioning.
They still have that, or is that gone now?
No, Solana phone is they sell out every single time, dude.
I'm saying, do you still get the $1,000 in Bonk?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Like they like it's a preset number of how much bonk you receive, but right now it's like close to $1,000, maybe 900 since like the market has like dipped today, but yeah.
I didn't know that was going to be a permanent thing. That's why I asked that.
Yeah. But you know, like I'll pull this up if you guys will like let me share my screen, but like take a look at this, right? Like I was talking about the Solana phone. Can you guys see it? Yeah, you can, right?
Yeah.
Like, this was back in like April of 2023, right? And then like a few months later, like I'll take it off now. How do I? Okay. Yeah, so like a few months later, when like we were having that echo bubble in the summertime, and of course like the market started to drop in like late August, and Sol went back down to like $11-12. I was kind of saying like, dude, Sol is actually, you know, filled with alpha right now. And then I found a few alts, and where the rest is history. But I regret not buying bonk in October, to be frank, of last year. I really do. But like regardless if you think like dog coins or cat coins or animal circus coins are frothy for this market, you have to understand that it's kind of like L1s like last cycle where there was a ton of L1s, right? That's how I'm thinking about it.
So are you saying, Wabi, that the market doesn't care about how I feel about things?
Yeah, it doesn't. Like, do you want to make money or do you want to be right? You know what I'm saying? And you know, again, like what's going to attract normies, right? Like a PowerPoint presentation by a guy who used to work at Jump Crypto, and he's now raising at like a multi-billion-dollar valuation for another L1, or maybe like, you know, memes that people can understand, right? That they can see that, like, you know, something like Pepe and Mog have been around for over a year and have gone through multiple downturns. And I mean, they're basically listed on a ton of centralized exchanges at this point, and they've already gone through their massive like FUD cycle, right? So like the Pepe team, like they nuked like their entire bag, right? So I don't know. It's kind of like with any other altcoin, right? Unless like major holders sell, I don't know. It's not really gonna like. I don't think like the downside risk is as great as like a micro cap or whatever. But yeah, that's my thing. Like, why would I take out my money from Pepe and Mog and put it into like an old project from last cycle or a new project that's coming out worth, you know, billions? Like, private markets already caught that upside, right? But you know, I think when ETH breaks all-time high, everything is going to run, to be honest. But yeah, comment section about
AI has been a bit under the radar lately. Wabi, what do you think?
I think we have to look at NVIDIA. Like, yeah, NVIDIA
NVIDIA is weak.
Yeah,
very weak.
NVIDIA is your signal.
NVIDIA was a name that you know, we've kind of been highlighting on this show because it is one of the names where it was getting some declining momentum on higher time frames. And of course, you know, we talked about it on this show before, but the quote unquote window of weakness for equity markets, where I don't think we have positive supportive flows, like passive flows from 401ks, retirement funds, obviously options as well play a role in that. But yeah, we don't have those positive flows coming back until basically next week. So it was kind of a window where for NVIDIA bears, this was really the opportunity to put their foot on the gas pedal. And so far we've seen that. I think with other AI names as well, we've seen this as well. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just the AI trade locally maybe got a bit crowded and ran out of buyers because everybody wanted to be long AI. And now we're seeing some forced selling as people realize, well, damn, I was the exit liquidity, at least locally speaking. I'm not saying that AI is top, certainly not. But, you know, when we talk about like reflexivity, there are going to be points where market expectations outpace the true fundamentals and value of an asset, and eventually it will come back down to earth. But I think this is a good spot to wrap it up, actually, guys. We have been going for almost 2 hours today on this Friday, so we hope that you enjoyed the show. It was a bit of a marathon show, but I mean, I think you guys deserved it given the volatility that we're seeing in the markets. I would have liked if you had hit the like button a little bit more, but that's neither here nor there. Thank you guys, as always, for being present on Market Check. I'm going to run a few things by you for our outro, and then you guys can enjoy your weekend or not, depending, of course, on, I mean, hopefully you don't overfixate on the market over the weekend, but I mean, who knows what crypto is going to do this weekend, man, especially after what equities are doing today. But a lot of interesting price action certainly on the horizon, I think, in the next week. Probably have some really juicy buying opportunities for all risk as well, even despite the downside that we're seeing. But yeah, guys, a reminder that we have launched our brand new hedge fund, BB Wealth Management. That is a fund that is run by the BB team and specializes, of course, in digital assets in a way. I love that Wabi has the Jackass profile picture, but obviously invest in digital assets in a way that looks to capture their asymmetric history for upside returns, as well as the investment risks posed in any market. So if becoming an LP or an accredited investor is something that interests you, we do offer the community the opportunity to participate as well. Just go to the description of this video below. We will answer hopefully any and all of your questions if you reach out to us via email. But yeah, we are very, very excited about that. Of course, as well, we are excited about the BB Academy, which, you know, some of you have already run through it. We've gotten some amazing reviews on it. I'm not surprised. I always say it, for the money that you spend on it, it is the best course in crypto. And I will put it up against any other course that you can find on the market. I mean, how many other courses can you learn from the entire team of traders, not just one or two people, but an entire team of traders, how we approach the market, how we trade, and how we analyze charts. Brings a very different perspective, you know, on a variety of different educational materials. So make sure to check that out as well. We do have more information linked in the description of this video, just like BB Wealth Management. But not to forget our programming, guys. Market Check will return for another episode of we'll return for another episode of Market Check on Monday. Typical start time, if you are new, is around 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are live Monday through Friday whenever the New York Stock Exchange is open. So like on holidays, of course, we will not be available. Shout out to Popeye, who was a great guest in a very chaotic day. Very chaotic day, not just in markets, but also on Market Check. We hope that you guys enjoyed the show. But last but not least, do not forget about Market Talk, hosted by King. Oh, I'm pointing the wrong way. Nope. King Wabi. I got to make sure I'm pointing the right way on the screen. He does a great job on Market Talk. Flavor of the conversation will always be very much based on the guests that we have participating. So if you're looking for a little dose of market talk, no pun intended or pun intended, depending on your perspective, in the afternoon after you enjoyed Market Check, head over to Wabi's show. We always provide notifications if you are following and subscribed when we go live. So make sure to stay tuned for that as well. But thanks, guys, for a great week. Thanks for a great show. Y'all really hit the like button for the majority of the week. I won't hold today against you, obviously, because it is a bit of a deep red day for markets, but we will see what we get next week, of course. And as always, guys, thanks again and stay safe. You get the
bye, guys. Enjoy your weekend.
Bye.
See you, man.